Hey, this is my 5th round match against Joe Fox. I'm commentating with Julian Toe,
Hey guys.
our fellow Sneak and Show team member.
Yeah.
Hello, this is my balance deck. So the idea of the deck is to sacrifice all your lands, then you suspend a creature or float some mana and cast balance. They will use all their creatures, all their lands, and some cards from their hand, and then you either wait for your suspend creature to come in the following turn, or you cast a big guy with the floating mana and win the game with that guy. Right, so let's get to the mana base first. Full set of invasion sack lands, so they tap for the base colour, and then whatever the allied colour is, you can sack it and you get both the allied colours. The idea is that you can get rid of the land by itself. In the full complement of the Odyssey lands that come into play tapped, and you can sack them for any colour. Key mechanic is the sacrifice. Fallen Empire's lands, they tap for a colour and sack for double of that colour. Mercedes Masks, depletion lands, they come in with 2 counters on them. You can tap them for 2 of that colour twice. And then some other random lands that can get themselves off the battlefield, like Vesuva Copy is another one, and Gemstone Mine, you've got to time it right so you can get all the 3 counters down in time. Aboro bounces itself back to your hand. And then we've got some colour fixing. As you can see, I'm like pretty crazy. 5 colours. I've got a few eggs. Crowstar, Crowsphere, Terrarian, the Slow Trip, Barb Sextant. Got Metamorpho, stick some colour, a few rituals in Lotus Bloom, LED, Lotus Petal, Elvish Spirit Guide. That's probably the worst card in the deck, but never mind. A little bit of utility down here. Gitaxian Probe to see if you need to hold up Daze mana or something. Regrowth in case they make you Thoughtseize your balance, which hurts a lot. And Top's just generally good. Now, for the win conditions, some suspend creatures. It's pretty hilarious, like spam, time spiral, draft commons, making a constructed deck, but they work. And then we've got some cheap guys that you can just float mana for and cast them. They'll win the game by themselves. Goyf, Terrible, Mayor of Overbrock, who flips often because they've got no lands to cast any spells. Chimeric Idol, he's just an artifact and he turns into a dude, so balance doesn't hit artifacts. So you can wipe your board and he lives and then you bash him the same turn. Skippy's probably the best one because he lets you discard your hand as well and blinks himself out, then you balance. And they lose their hand as well. Garrett can untap 2 lands, wipe the board, and then the following turns you just make beasts and kill them. Then for the actual sweepers, balance the namesake of the deck. Balancing Act is pretty good too. You can hit permanents such as Planeswalkers, which can be a big issue for balance. And then Yockelhorps hits lands, creatures, artifacts, generally good enough to get there. Obliterate is a concession to counter spells. I'm still really bad against counter spells. That's the reason I don't play this deck in big tournaments. And then the rest is just tutors to find balance, basically. The points are balance is 2 points, DT's 3 points, well, the mixture's 1 point, so that's 6, and personal tutor is the 7th point. Alright, that's the deck. Hopefully it does it right. We'll find out.
Right, this is the sideboard for balance. I've got some extra anti-aggro sweepers here in MonoUTinker, which is an old school wildfire, Devastating Dreams, and Apocryphite. He can block and come back later. Against control, I don't want him because they don't have to attack to kill me. My counterspell matchup is terrible, so I've got a huge package against counterspells. Silence, Orange Chant, Gainsay, Mana Leak, Red Elemental Blast, Pyroblast. These 4 all deal with Back to Basics, which is another problem card. Defense Grid also, it's colours, which is nice. I don't have to sack any of my eggs or crack any lands to get the coloured mana required. I've got a little bit of anti-graveyard hate, and they draw a card later, which is nice, particularly with Personal Tutor and Sensei's Divining Top. Extract against faster combo decks such as Channel, and I've got Mindbreak Trap just against Storm. That's my sideboard.
Joe was playing Tinker for this round, much to my demise. You're all quite familiar with this deck. Paddy Robinson's been playing it. Ray Barker's been playing it. It's Tinker. There it is, 4 points, Tinker. Sack one of your artifacts. Go slam down a Blightsteel Colossus, or if you've drawn it, you can get a Worm Coil, or even Batterskull. Vidalcan Shackles can close out the game as well. Plenty of counter spells, so you play a control game, lots of cheap counter spells, and eventually you'll draw into your Tinker itself with all your dig effects and cantrips, or you'll draw a Mystical Tutor, which is effectively Tinker, which you can tutor for it, the Tinker. You've got a almost exclusive island mana base. The fetch lands go find islands, so you can play back to basics, which also gives you some free wins. It's got a recent powerful addition in True Name Nemesis. All the blue decks will play on this card. We'll see how it impacts the format. And in the sideboard, we've got some control magic effects. Control magic, threads, treachery. Some anti-graveyard, Tormod's Crypt. You can go find that with Trinket Mage. A few more counter spells for the mirror. Spell Pierce, Misdirection, Flusterstorm, which also works well against Storm, and Dispel. And you got some anti-combo and Extract, and Pithing Needle, maybe naming Time Vault, for example. Relic Progenesis, more Graveyard Hate. Inkwell Leviathan is an upgrade to your Tinker target if you're playing against a slow deck that can't race it. That's the deck. You can see almost exclusively blue. That black's just Dismember, which doesn't really count. It's colourless. And Tinker's got quite a nice curve. Starting at 1, drops all the way down to 6. And that's Blightsteel over there. Cool, onto the games.